that I found in other places, and I added my notes, and I have my camera, and I just take a lot of pictures of the recipe process, and I started posting it on my blog, and people went crazy for it. I mean, people came in and started sharing it with their friends, and they were all students, and it's like, it's not the chef recipe that tells you blah, 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 blah. It's like, it doesn't look down on you. If you read the recipe, it feels like I'm standing right there next to you and talking to you like a friend. So it started gaining more and more and more traffic, and that was 5 years ago. So in 5 years, I kind of taught myself how to cook. And I started from doing really easy recipes and simple to doing more complicated stuff. So 1 year ago, I even made a puff pastry on my own, which is a really complicated recipe. And also I made macaroon, which is like the famous Parisian cookie. And it's really, really hard to make. And I made it 20 times until I made it. And I found a way, but you have to, when you make that cookie, you have to use a scale. You have to put exactly 100 grams of this and that. And I found a way to make it without the scale and without a blender and without all the tough equipment that the students don't have. So I found a packet of crema, of sour cream, and I found that if you let's pretend this is a packet of cream. So I found that if you measure, the recipe says you need 100 grams of egg whites, like, you know, the whites, the egg whites. So how do you measure 100 grams of egg whites if you don't have a scale? So I tried to see what the amount of 100 grams of egg whites, and I saw that it reaches exactly the halfway to the packet of crema. So I told people, instead of buying a scale for a lot of money, you could just buy a packet of crema, clean it really well, and just use it as a measuring cup. And if it reaches the middle, you have exactly 100 grams. So you don't need an expensive scale to make the crazy recipe for macaroni. So people my age, or even smaller, like students, simple people who are not pastry chefs, who never baked anything in their lives, they send me pictures and say, "Oh, I made it macaroni, and they're perfect." And it was really nice. So, so about 1 year after I started the blog, just 1 year, it was really quick. The editor for Zmani Moderni, which is the lifestyle section of the Autochronot newspaper, which is the biggest Israeli newspaper, daily newspaper, she found me on the white pages, and she called me and she said, "Hi, would you like to write the food column for the newspaper?" And I was like, "What? Are you kidding me? Yes, of course." So I started writing the food column for the newspaper. That was 4 years ago. So I take the pictures, and as I went along with the blog, my pictures became better, and I started learning a little more about cameras, and it came up to the place that I was doing the food styling on my own. And after a while, I published my own cooking magazine, in which I did all the styling and the pictures and writing. I did all the recipes. And it's kind of like the same feel of the blog, it's just easy, accessible recipes that you can make daily at home. And instead of using like really fancy plates and accessories, I use like home-style plates and utilities, so it looks more familiar, it looks more homely. I mean, this bowl I got from my grandmother because I thought it looks more, it speaks to the real people and not look like fancy and inaccessible. So I did this. This took me about 2 months to produce. I worked like full time, and I write all the recipes and I edit them and I test them a long time. This for example is a pizza that has no yeast in it, because if you make a real pizza dough, it takes a long time to rise, but this has no yeast in it. It's like it's a really quick recipe. Hi. And it has cheese and beef on it. So it's like a mix of pizza and hamburger. So I call it a pizza burger. And what else? And I have this, for example, it's a really simple cupcake recipe that has chocolate de chapa, which is like a really famous chocolate spread in Israel. It's kind of like Nutella, but all the kids love it, and it comes in package, and it's like really low quality stuff. You wouldn't put this in your baked goods. But I found that if you mix it with some eggs and some flour and just a little bit of vanilla, and just 4 ingredients, you just stir it for 5 minutes, you put it in the oven, and the cupcakes turn out just like a real chocolate cake. And it's no work, and for people who don't know how to bake and are intimidated, it's very good.